JBN, we keep you informed. I am Michelle Jones, and in the news, 5 in custody, guns seized in separate incidents in St. Catherine South. The St. Catherine South Police says a gun has been seized and 5 persons have been taken into custody in separate incidents. Police reports indicate that shortly after midnight on Tuesday, July 19, a vehicle was stopped and searched. A Smith & Wesson 9mm pistol loaded with 7 9mm cartridges was seized. The driver and a 17-year-old boy were taken into custody. Sometime after 4 a.m. on Wednesday, a robbery was reported in the Independent City area of Portmore, St. Catherine, by men traveling in a motor car. The police immediately responded, and after consistent search and pursuit, the motor car was intercepted in the Marine Park area in Portmore. The 3 occupants who tried to elude the police were apprehended. The St. Catherine South Police will be occupying the major thoroughfares in addition to other operational activities, which are all aimed at reducing the opportunities for criminals to commit crimes. Criminals who venture into St. Catherine South will be caught and brought to justice. We continue to solicit the support of law-abiding citizens as we continue to make the division safe for residents and visitors alike, said Superintendent of Police Christopher Phillips. The St. Catherine South Criminal Investigation Branch is investigating. Man shot in St. Elizabeth succumbs to injury. A man was found suffering from gunshot wounds in the Vineyard District in St. Elizabeth on Tuesday night has died. He has been identified as Orlando Sokra. Vineyard is located east of Black River. A police report indicated that about 9 p.m., the injured man was seen at the entrance to the community with what appeared to be gunshot wounds. He was taken to hospital. However, he died while undergoing treatment. The St. Elizabeth police are probing the incident. Police killed 3 men, seized 2 guns in St. Elizabeth. Police have identified 3 alleged members of the Speculation Gang who were fatally shot during a confrontation near Black River on Tuesday. They are 19-year-old Najee Smith, a resident of Speculation District, 21-year-old Shamar Brown, and 20-year-old Ricardo Salmon, both residents of Oxford District. A police report said about 4:45 p.m., the men were intercepted on the Speculation Main Road during an operation. The men reportedly opened fire at the police. A shootout ensued. Police said 2 illegal firearms were seized during the incident, a 1.3 revolver with 2 rounds and a Beretta .22 with 9 rounds. The Independent Commission of Investigations Indicom has since launched a probe into the incident. For months, the police have accused members of the Speculation Gang of committing murders and robberies across the parish. FLA head reacts to shootout in Montego Bay. Chief Executive Officer of the Firearms Licensing Authority, Shane Darling, says Tuesday's brazen exchange of gunfire by 2 men in busy Samshop Square is proof of the flowing suggestions that more licensed firearm holders will help curb crime, while stressing that he could not confirm that the men are licensed firearm holders as reported by the police. Darling condemned their actions. I can make a general comment that if this is really 2 licensed firearm holders acting in this manner, it is frightening, for one, and it tells you that what we have in Jamaica is a gun culture, he said when contacted for a reaction. Pedestrians flinched in surprise and fear as gunshots echoed in Montego Bay's congested Samshop Square about 1 p.m. on Tuesday. In a video that has been widely circulated, a man in a red shirt, gun in his right hand, can be seen limping in between cars in a line of traffic. He appears to be shot. 3 more shots then ring out as the limping man and onlookers try to find cover. According to a source, the incident stemmed from road rage. Both men were injured in the altercation, and up to last evening, they were in hospital under police guard. Their injuries are not considered life-threatening. One of the men is a civil servant. This school of thought that if we give more persons guns, then it would solve the crime problem. But you'll be shifting the problem from one where the police are shooting after criminals in that manner to license holders behaving like what you see in that video. And sooner or later, we'll be having cases like what you're seeing in the United States. Because with a culture where people do not know how to resolve simple disputes, they resort to violence, said Darling. The FLA will now wait for the police to conclude their investigations, then decide how to proceed if the men are licensed firearm holders, he said. On Tuesday evening, acting head of the St. James Police, Superintendent Carlos Russell, said investigations were at an early stage and there was not much information he could provide on the incident. Speaking Based on the video being circulated, Darling blasted the shooters. "What you're seeing there are wild actions of persons shooting at each other like they're the OK Corral, and therefore it is not a matter for the police in the first instance to investigate and carry criminal charges," said Darling. "Yes, the FLA will cause an investigation to be done, notwithstanding the criminal investigation being done by the police. And we are not prejudicing the investigation of the police, but we work to review the actions of the individuals, not with a view to determine criminality, but to see that the person remains a fit and proper person to continue holding a firearm," he explained. Tuesday's shooting comes at a time, he said, when the FLA is looking to strengthen its protocols and no gun licenses are issued. Holness urges schools not to turn away students for unpaid fees. Prime Minister Andrew Holness is urging school administrators not to turn away students whose parents find it difficult to pay tuition fees at the start of the new academic year in September as a result of economic hardships brought on by the novel coronavirus pandemic coupled with external shocks. Holness, leader of the governing Jamaica Labour Party JLP, was addressing a meeting of the party's general executive at the Montego Bay Convention Centre in Rosehall, St. James on Sunday. Holness, meanwhile, announced that the government is planning an extensive back-to-school program, seemingly in anticipation of what he foresees as the biggest test that will face parents in September. He reminded the party members that the no tuition policy is that no child should be turned away from school because of any obligatory fees. For 2 years we have had education loss, and what you're going to say to us now, that the children returning to school won't have an education if they can't pay for it? I'm saying to us as a country, no, it's not the time for that. The posture should be, make we get all the pitting them back in a school, Holness charge. Come and argue with the government, don't argue with the child. And my heart's soft to education already, so from you come and argue with me about it, you know we're going to find some way to deal with it. I'm saying, don't put any obstacles come September for the children to go back to school. Minister of Education Favour Williams started the dialogue because in education you know the real issue is a dialogue. You have to give everybody their respect and talk to them. Make sure that they're on the same page. But right now the national effort, the national interest must be to get all of our children back into school. Nevertheless, he urged parents who can afford the school fees not to be mean-spirited. There may be some parents who are considered mean-spirited, that because the government says no child should be turned away, they say, sure, we don't have to pay, go on a school. I'm saying to those parents, don't be mean-spirited. Still make your contribution to the school, the Prime Minister encouraged. He also instructed JLP representatives to be on the lookout for students who are not back in school when the new academic year commences. And so MPs, councillors, council caretakers, agents who are here, you need to be on the lookout and have strong surveillance in your community for children who may not be going back to school and encourage them to go back to school. The JLP leader also mandated Education Minister Favour Williams to say to the schools, be very reasonable with the book list, adding that one lesson the pandemic taught is the use of technology. So we are planning a very extensive back-to-school program because we know that it's going to be a pressure point come September. So we'll be assisting parents as much as possible with book vouchers and other forms of assistance, he said. 65 new COVID-19 cases in Jamaica, 1 death reported. The Ministry of Health and Wellness reported 65 new COVID-19 cases over the last 24 hours, bringing the infection total to 144,997. Only 1 death was recorded, bringing the total to 3,174 confirmed deaths. The new cases comprise 42 females and 23 males, with ages ranging from 46 days to 96 years. The cases were recorded in Kingston and St. Andrew 29, St. James 12, St. Catherine 8, St. Mary 6, Portland 5, St. Anne 2, Clarendon, St. Thomas and Westmoreland 1 each. Trelawney, Manchester, Hanover and St. Elizabeth were the only parishes to record 0 cases. The death is of a 64-year-old man from St. James, whose death was recorded in March 2021. There were 102 recoveries in the last 24 hours, bringing the total to 92,673. Currently, 95 people are hospitalized, 30 of whom are moderately ill, 4 severely ill, and 3 critically ill. Jamaica's positivity rate for the latest round of testing is 18.8%. And in sports news, Parchment cleared to resume light training after World Champs injury. Hansa Parchment has been cleared to resume light training after a second scan on his hamstring came back negative for any damage. Parchment, who ran the second fastest time in the semi-finals of the World Championships in Oregon, and was set for a rematch on Sunday with Olympic Games bronze medalist and world champion Grant Holloway, appeared to have hurt his leg while taking his warm-up runs and limped off the track, grimacing in pain. An initial scan had also been negative, and the follow-up confirmed this. On Monday, Parchment apologized to his fans via a social media post. Jamaican women stay on course for another sweep. A second sweep by Jamaica's sprint female throughout the World Athletics Championships at Hayward Field in Eugene is still on the cards after the 100 meters medalists all advanced to Thursday's final of the 200 meters after Tuesday's semi-finals. World leader Shericka Jackson leads all qualifiers with an easy-looking 21.67 seconds. Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce, who is seeking her second sprint double, was next best with a season's best 21.82 seconds, and Olympic champion Elaine Thompson-Herro also advanced with a season's best 21.97 seconds. Fraser-Pryce admitted the grueling schedule was finally starting to take its toll. "I am tired. We got no rest after the 100 meters. We had a round on Monday and another Tuesday. For me, it definitely takes a toll as I'm older than most of the girls, so my recovery takes a little bit longer. So I try to recover as best as I can, so I can come back out here and execute 100 meters. And I think I'm pleased, especially with the first 150 meters. Just making sure that I get out as the ladies behind are capable of running 21.2. And I didn't want to give myself too much work because I'm not too much of a closer." Jackson, who failed to make it past the first round in the Olympics last year, said the disappointment there was driving her. "I had one of the fastest 200 meters times last year, and to not make it past the heats was a really heartbreaking moment for me, and I did not want to make any more mistakes this year. Then I sat down, worked out some stuff. The curve was one of the problems, and I wanted to run it as hard as I can, and I did that today, and I'm happy." Rashid Dwyer was the only Jamaican in the men's 200 meters semi-final and finished 8th in his race, running 20.87 seconds and fell out of contention. Meanwhile, Jamaicans failed to add to the 4 medals won so far, finishing off the podium in 3 finals contested yesterday. Lamar Destin and Kimberly Williamson contested the women's high jump. Frederick Dakers and Travis Michael were in the men's discus throw, and Jaleel Hyde in the men's 400 meters hurdles. Destin was 9th in the high jump with a clearance of 1.93 meters, failing at 1.96 meters after clearing the 3 previous sites of the first attempt, while Williamson was 11th with 1.89 meters. Dakers was also 9th with 64.85 meters, and Smichael 12th with 62.23 meters on his only legal attempt. Hyde ran a big personal best, 48.03 seconds for 6th in the men's 400 meters hurdles final, beating his previous best of 48.18 seconds set last year, 3rd best ever by a Jamaican man. And in football news, Reggae Girls forced to pay for luggage on account of empty credit card. Players and staff of the World Cup bound Reggae Girls had to pay to clear their own luggage from a connecting flight to Miami from the George Bush Intercontinental Houston Airport yesterday, after a credit card given to the group by a director of the Jamaica Football Federation JFF for traveling expenses had no funds. A JFF source said there was also a further mix-up after the federation attempted to transfer funds to the group to address their situation. In order to catch a connecting flight to Miami, some members of the traveling group opted to pay to clear their own luggage. Some of the luggage was sent off, but some had to remain because by the time things were sorted out, the flight had already taken off, so 2 of the staff stayed with the remaining luggage. What happened is that some players and staff decided to pay for their personal luggage, because by the time the funds came to deal with that, the flight would have left, the source disclosed. Due to the late arrival of the funds, the extra luggage, which consisted mainly of equipment, had to be left behind. 2 staff members remained in Houston, who traveled with the luggage today. The Reggae Girls party was traveling from Mexico, where they finished 3rd in the CONCACAF Women's Championship, qualifying for their 2nd consecutive FIFA Women's World Cup. And in cricket, Tala was planning on spinning their way to CPL title. Jeff Miller, Chief Executive Officer of 2-time Caribbean Premier League Championships, Jamaica, believes in the team his staff has picked to take on the 2022 edition of the competition. During the recent held CPL draft, it was noticeable that the Talawas only picked 2 fast bowlers on the tournament, in Jamaica Nicholas Gordon and Pakistani Mohammad Amir. But according to Miller, the lack of pace is no accident. I think based on the 4 venues that the tournament will be held, St. Kitts and Nevis, St. Lucia, Trinidad and Tobago and Guyana, we have a good squad that will be accountable to bring a 3rd championship, said Miller. We believe that we have a good team. The coaching staff did a good job in identifying the players for this year, said Miller. The team does have medium pacers in the form of a number of all-rounders, but is hopeful that these players provide more firepower at the bat for the Talawas. JBN, we keep you informed. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, leave us a comment and click the notification bell to receive our daily news items.